Hello everyone. I hope all of you are doing great. After a long break, I have come up with the story of Joseph. And do you know who Joseph is? Joseph is the youngest son of Jacob. Can you see a boy there who is very sad and hopeless? Do you know who he is? He is Joseph. His brothers have just sold him to these men who are on their way to Egypt. There, Joseph will be made a slave. Now, why have his half-brothers done this bad thing? Do you know? It is because they are jealous of Joseph. Their father Jacob liked Joseph very much. He showed him favor by having a beautiful long coat made for him. When his 10 older brothers saw how much Jacob loved Joseph, they began to be jealous and started to hate Joseph. But my dear children, that was not the only reason they hated him. One day, Joseph had 2 dreams. In both of Joseph's dreams, his brothers bowed down to him. When Joseph told his brothers these dreams, their hatred grew even more. Now one day, when Joseph's older brothers are taking care of their father's sheep, Jacob asked Joseph to go and see how they are getting along. When Joseph's brothers see him at a distance, they said, "Let's kill him." Hearing this, Reuben, the oldest brother, said, "No, don't do that." Instead, they grabbed Joseph and threw him into a dried up water hole. They afterwards sat down to decide what to do with him. Now, while they were deciding, some Ishmaelite men came along. Judah, his half-brother, told, "Let's sell him to the Ishmaelites." And my dear children, that's what they did. They sold Joseph for 20 pieces of silver. How mean and unkind, aren't they? Now, these brothers were thinking of what to tell to their father once they reach home. So, they killed a goat and again dipped Joseph's beautiful coat into the goat's blood. Then, they took the coat home to their father Jacob and said, "Father, we found this. Look at this and see if it is Joseph's coat or not." Jacob saw that and he thought a wild animal must have killed Joseph, and he started to cry. And that is what Joseph's brothers want their father to think, my dear children. Jacob was very sad. He weeps for many days. But Joseph is not dead. I'll be telling about Joseph, what happened to him in the next story. Did you like today's story? What can we learn from today's story, my dear children? One thing we can learn about Joseph is that he was an obedient child to his father. He obeyed his parents. And that's why we can learn from the story that he obeyed his father. Instantly he went in search of his brothers, listening to his father, honoring his father. The next thing that we can learn from Joseph's story is that some people do not really care about others. That's what we learn from Joseph's brothers. They were not really caring about others. Hence, they were even capable of thinking horrendous and unthinkable things. How can people intentionally sell their own family members as Joseph's brother did with him? How can people kill their own flesh? Wasn't it so mean? Cold-hearted enough to sell. Cold-hearted enough to allow their father to believe and cling to the falsehood that Joseph was no longer alive. Do you know how long Joseph's brothers concealed the truth about Joseph from their father? About 22 years they allowed their father to suffer the mental anguish of thinking that his son was dead. My dear children, loving children do not inflict such torment on a parent, do they? And what can we learn from today's story? As Jesus taught us, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Love your parents. So my dear children, hope you all loved this story today. Do share with your friends and do stay healthy and safe. Until I come up with my next story, bidding goodbye to you all.